another lesson for history. Today we are going to start thinking about the things that have happened in Wagga's past and what Wagga could have looked like back in the past. So we're going to start by reading this book called Hometown. This book is about an American town in the past, but it's still helpful for us to learn about because we can think about our own town when we're reading it. This is a wordless picture book. That means that there are no or only a few words. The pictures do most of the talking, so we'll have to study the pictures carefully to see what happens. Let's read. My hometown. Oh, and aren't these end pages interesting? They look like newspaper print. That could be an interesting clue for us. Remember that? Every town is built of stories. And isn't that true? This term in history, we're learning about stories. Oh, this sounds good. So here is one town. This looks like it's Main Street. We have lots of people along the street, including this little boy on a bike. Oh, and we have a newspaper up in the air. It's been caught in the breeze and is floating around. Ooh, this boy on his bike has noticed the newspaper. The newspaper is called the Hometown Gazette. It looks like autumn there, just like we're in autumn. He's picking it up. Wow! It's a newspaper about the past of his town. See the headline? A town is born. And all of the buildings are just being built. Wow, it looks like he's really transfixed on the newspaper. I wonder what's going to happen. Wow, it looks like he's been transported back to his hometown when it was being built. This looks exactly like the page in the picture. We can see that it was a time when there were horses carrying carts. There weren't any cars. When people were building houses out of wood. Ooh, time has gone on now and people are starting to use old-fashioned vehicles. See the vehicles? Although this one's still being a horse-drawn cart. So some people have horses, some people have cars. Look at their old-fashioned clothes. They're all wearing hats and gloves. And he's dressed very fancy with a tie and a hat. And the buildings have all been built. Here's the town hall. Oh, wow. Look at the things I can do in the past. Go to the diner, stay in a hotel. It looks like they can even go to a show. And there's the general store. I wonder what's happening now. Ooh, it looks like it could be wartime because there's a scrap metal drive where people are giving all the metal objects in their homes to be used and made into something new. We have a newspaper boy selling newspapers, and it looks like this other boy is riding a bike somewhere. This looks like it could be the end of a war. All the soldiers are back parading and people look like they're celebrating. There are fireworks. This is a very happy day for this town. What can you notice in this picture? Maybe the ice cream vendor. It looks like people can now buy ice cream on the street. They've got a Ferris wheel. This could have been a soldier from the other page, now with a young family. It looks like people are enjoying leisure and sporting activities. Now it looks like people are having a demonstration and wanting to march for different causes. And look, we now have TV. TV has finally come. In Australia, that didn't come till the 1960s. And did you know that TV used to be black and white? Not in colour. And here's the diner with a new sign. We've now got a music shop as well. And now it's in colour. Maybe because colour TVs have come in. We now have a shoe shop. And we can see all the different colours of the buildings. And children are enjoying lots of different sporting activities in the street. Oh no, can you see that some of these shops have been closed down? Maybe it's hard times at the moment and the town isn't doing so well and there isn't much money. There's also this pancake breakfast. Maybe they're raising funds for something. Oh wow! Now it's a public library and it's celebrating 150 years. That means this town must be now 150 years old. And the newspaper's moving. He lost his newspaper. What's going to happen on the next page? Oh, well, it's gone to a different girl and she might discover the stories of her town. Our text says, discover the stories that built your hometown. And that is what we are going to do this term. I'm so excited here too. I love learning about our history. And now is the time where we can look at some signs of the past in our hometown and think about what our town could have been like in the past. It's our turn now to look at a street in Wagga and look at all the signs of the past, just like in our story. So, in your plan for Monday's history lesson, you will see a link to Fitzmaurice Street. Click on that because we're now going to have a virtual walk down Fitzmaurice Street. And we're going to keep walking past the lagoon, past all the shops, all the way down to Knights. And what you're looking for are signs of the past. So here's an example. This is our council chambers and we've got lots of signs of the past. For example, an obvious sign is the date. Quite a few buildings in Fitzmaurice Street have the date that they were built. This date is 1881. Wow, that is a long time ago, over 100 years ago. This building has been standing for a long time. So that's one sign of the past, the date. But look at these old-fashioned lamps on either side of the building. That's another sign of the past. And all this beautiful gold paint. Wow, isn't that ornate? And we have an emblem for Wagga with the beautiful animals. And we have these pillars and a big solid wooden door. We have lots of very special decorative features on this building. We have all these fancy little swirls and curves built into this building. So as you're walking through the street on your computer, I want you to stop and look and see if you can find some dates. Look at the buildings like the School of Arts. That has a date. And also Hunters on the Hill, our newsagents. That has a date. And also look out for our Wagga Courthouse with its big, beautiful bell and clock. Once you've had a walk down, I want you to choose your favourite building and then draw a diagram, just like I have. I drew this building right here, the council chambers, and I've tried my best to show some of the decorative features and historical features of the building. And then I have labelled them. I have got a label pointing to the emblem. I have labelled the dates. I have labelled the arches on the side of the building. I have also labelled the wooden door, the name of the building, the old-fashioned lights, and I could keep going on and even talk about some of these special features, these pillars at the top, or these stairs down the bottom, or some of the features and the pictures in the arches along the side of the building. So it's your turn now. Enjoy walking down Fitzmaurice Street, find your favourite building and look for some signs of the past. On page 6 in your yellow history book, we have a KWL chart. That's to help us think about what we want to know about Wagga in the past and what we already know. So the K stands for what I know already about Wagga. W is what we want to know or what we wonder. And L we will complete at the very end of the term to show everything we've learnt. So let's do these first two columns today. What do you already know? Well, from doing your tour of Wagga, you may already know that the buildings were created a few years ago, hundreds of years ago, back in the 1800s. And I also knew that some streets in Wagga were named after important people in the past who lived here, so I put that down. Maybe you know some important streets as well, like Bayliss Street is named after a person, Henry Bayliss. Talking of Henry Bayliss, I wanted to know more about him and his run-in with the bushranger Mad Dog Morgan. So I've put that in the column, what I want to know. I also want to know more about other famous people who have lived here in Wagga who did amazing things for our country. I also want to know about how the river was used for training for soldiers in World War II, because the other day when I was walking by the river, I saw some information and that made me really interested. One other thing I want to know about is the Queen's visit to Wagga. Did you know the Queen visited Wagga? She did. Back in the 1950s. I would like to know what happened then, when she visited and who she spoke to and what happened. So what do you want to know about? Write some of these things in the W chart.